So it's time now. Shall we begin? Miss Song?
Hey, okay.
Yeah.
So right now it start.
Please.
Okay. Hello everyone. I am Sun Qian, a project manager of China Petrol Industry Publisher and a PhD candidate in Southwest Petrol University of China. Today, it's my great honor to moderate this panel discussion on climate, governments, and energy in the post-COVID-19 pandemic. The panel will be divided into two parts. Part 1 will be chaired by Professor Xue A from Nagoya University, Japan. There will be 4 keynote speakers in the first part. Part 2 will be chaired by Professor Eva Sorin from Malmö University in Sweden. And there will be another 4 keynote speakers. Because of time limitations, we ask each speaker to limit their talk to about 50 minutes. We will have 30 minutes for discussions, so each speaker may add additional comment then. Let me now give the floor to Professor Xue. Welcome, Professor Xue, please.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Xue Jinjun speaking. I give you 3 ways of greetings because I'm now in Sweden. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. And in this panel, some people will come from a different country in different time zones. So it's not easy to host this kind of conference. But anyway, it's a great chance we meet here and to discuss something online. It's my great honor to chair this special panelist panel discussion. This panel will be divided into 2 parts, as moderator said already. I will chair the first one and invite 4 speakers to give a keynote speech. So please let me share you my brief introduction to the panel discussion. So this is your chair, me and Professor Eva Sorin from Malmö University, Sweden. So a brief introduction to the panel. We are going to say something like this. Who will give us keynote speech in this panel? And why we organize this panel? And what issues will be discussed in this issue? And what are the purpose of this panel? And what are the outcomes we expect? And finally, what question you will raise in the discussion time? So in this session, we will invite Dr. Hongpeng Liu, Director of Energy Division from United Nations Escaper, Thailand, and Professor Xunpeng Shi from University of Technology, Sydney, Australia, Professor Shaozhou Qi from Wuhan University, China, Professor Shunsuke Managi, Kyushu University, Japan, Professor D. Morris Kaufman from University College London, the United Kingdom, Professor Klaus Huberk, University of Groningen, the Netherlands, and Professor Eric Dowlins from Malmö University, Sweden. And finally, Professor Boqiang Lin from Xiamen University, China. All these panelists are very famous in the field of climate change and energy economics. So we are happy to invite them to be here and to give us a keynote speech. Because time differences, we schedule this speech by time zone. And why we organize this panel? Because the COVID-19 pandemic has heavily damaged the world economy and significant influencing the issues of climate change and energy system. As many people predicted, the COVID-19 pandemic will be a new normal and the world economy will experience a stagnation. So we are considering that economic reopening may induce a black and high carbon economic recovery. Hopefully, many countries take this challenge as a chance and made their green recovery plans and announced their targets of carbon neutrality by year 2050 or 2060. Among the plans, a promise of increasing in renewable energy as well as to decrease fossil energy are crucial. Consequently, these plans and targets will lead to a net zero emission society and a sustainable development. So under this background, we organized this special panel to discuss the impact of the COVID-19 on the world economy, as well as on the climate change issues and energy policies. Dr. Henry Kissinger said a very famous word: the coronavirus pandemic will forever alert the world order. So the world order will be changed by the pandemic. And we think that on the right side is a picture I cited from a Nature journal. It says that how the pandemic might play out in 2021 and beyond, how the world normal will influence the world and our life in all aspects, and how can we, how will climate change, our current governance work well during and after the pandemic, and how can we design a sustainable energy system for carbon neutrality and sustainable development goals. So these are some topics we are discuss this in this panel. So the coronavirus pandemic will be a new normal. Therefore, we should do something, or we should prepare something for the post-pandemic era. So what are the topics of this panel? We are going to discuss the impact of COVID-19 on the world economy and global supply chains and energy supply chains. How to make a good balance between economic opening and disease control. How to contain global governments during and after the pandemic, and how to design a sustainable energy system for the carbon neutrality, and how to promote international collaborations. Here are some examples we are going to discuss in this panel. For example, the impact of the COVID-19 on world economy. We can see from the picture that the world economy will be dropped by roughly 6% this year, and maybe next year we'll have a stagnation. And the corona shock give a very serious impact on to the world energy security issues. For example, by the end of this year, the world primary energy demand will drop firstly since in the past 70 years. And the impact of COVID-19 on global supply chain is very serious. This is a picture to show that the world integration and the labor division and the production of aircraft. So we can see that aircraft is not made in USA, made by many countries, so made in the world. So because the lockdown starting from Wuhan, China, that interrupted the global supply chains and caused worldwide economic chaos. So even now in European country, the situation is still very serious. So many countries like USA, Japan, and others may complain that their economy is heavily relying on China. So over relying on Chinese supply chain is one problem we are facing now, because China is one of the center of global supply chains now. So we have to think about how to build a green, low carbon global supply chain. Also, we have to wait for safety for the global chains. So the question is, can USA and other countries be able to decouple with China, and how China and others should do? So these are questions we're going to discuss. This is a graph to show I just downloaded last night to show that in many countries, especially in European countries and United States, the pandemic is still a serious problem and will take a long time to solve it. So how to, one reason is that because some countries reopen the economy and the pandemic are breaking very rapidly. So our target is our question is how to make a good balance between economic opening and disease control. Here is one example made by a German institute. Shows that the GDP growth and the series of pandemic control. So we have to find a balance between the economic growth and disease control. Also, we have to think something else because, for example, how to practice social justice. Here we have some questions about coronavirus inequality, coronavirus energy poverty and inequality, something like that. All these things are relating to the United Nations Sustainable Global Development Goals. And the impact of coronavirus on climate change also is serious. Our study, we have paper published on Nature Communication, shows that in the first half of this year, because the lockdown and other measures, the world global emissions dropped about 9%. But after that, we expect that the global emission will increase rapidly. So we are worried about whether we will have a black and a high carbon recovery. So we have to make a choice in a post-pandemic, a black recovery or a green recovery. Fortunately, we have something very hot topic here to say that carbon neutrality plan and target. So this is an imagination of so-called carbon neutrality. The important keyword is offset. So how to offset the increased carbon emissions, maybe renewable energy or something else. So this is a target some countries announced again already by the year 2050 and China by the year 2060. So all these are very ambitious plan, but how to realize it, how to do? Because we need to increase other energy greatly. So maybe carbon nutrition, we need renewable energy on other ways to do. So we need to make a roadmap to that. The good thing is that during the pandemic, renewable energy production and consumption increased roughly 1%. It's not so high, but anyway, compared to the decline of other energy, it is good news for us. And also the good news for renewable energy development. This is a paper published on Nature Energy, written by Professor Yan, his group. So it shows that in China, the commercial solar system power supply in Chinese city is already cheaper than the grid power supply. And also, British Petrol published a paper, report says that the cost of wind and solar energy is decline. So this is some good news for development of renewable energy. Also, many countries are paying attention to a future energy called hydrogen energy. So we think that hydrogen energy will assist carbon neutrality in the future. We can see the USA, EU, Japan, Germany, and China also made many plans already. So here are some examples. And Japan had made a plan called Hydrogen Society. We know Japan has very good words called low carbon society. Now it's a new concept comes. So what are the purpose of this panel? We wanted to exchange the latest idea and research outcomes. We want to call international academic collaborations on the issues, and we want to formulate and publish your papers in Applied Energy. It's a very good journal. So we are discussing with Professor Yan, the editor-in-chief, may we have a special issue. And we want to provide policy suggestion to the governments and design international open courses for students. Also, Professor Yan has run a 50 university open courses already. And also, because some students and professors are here, and maybe it's a chance for you to meet each other, to know each other, and have a virtual job market to students. So finally, we have roughly 25 to 30 minutes for discussion. So we encourage everybody to prepare your questions. And if you have questions, please write down and post it on the chat box. Also, you can raise a question directly. So, okay, this is my brief introduction. Now